Hello again, my name is Gabe Zolna. I received a rather disturbing email and I want to share it with the viewers, but understand that it is incredibly descriptive. There's 3 videos and the article was written by Walid Shobat. If you're unfamiliar with him, he was a Muslim. He was a radical Muslim that converted to Christianity. And he's written a number of books, and he tries to educate people about Islam. You know, the one that Hillary Rodham Clinton refers to as a peaceful, loving religion. The same one that Barack Obama says the world owes so much to for their contribution. Well, this article is dated March the 17th, 2014, and the title is Actual and Literal Islamic Human Slaughterhouses for Christians Discovered. Now, it's important to also understand is that I don't believe they differentiate between Christians, Jews, or Muslims if they don't adhere to the Quran. They are considered infidels. And what they've done is they've set up slaughterhouses, actual slaughterhouses. And you'll see some of those in the video. The Islamic group of Iraq and Syria, they're also known as ISIS. They've been slaughtering Christians, and it's been going on for over 3 years. The slaughterhouses were in progress for many years. Many Syrians that participated in these slaughterhouses have come down with a rare disease known as kuru, which can only be contracted as a result of cannibalism. What you'll see is, and what they talk about is how they take a human being, they decapitate him or her, and they don't differentiate between old, young, men, women. It makes no difference. Once they've cut their heads off, they disembowel them. And then they hang them upside down on meat hooks. I guess that's to drain their blood so they can sell it to those that'll pay up to $100,000 for a vial of Christian blood. You'll also see piles of dismembered limbs, heads, and corpses. Now, what I don't understand is how can the 90% of the Muslims that are not less than humans accept this? How can the Quran teach whatever it teaches and only 10% of the Muslims, again around 150 million, would do something like this to other human beings? I mean, the Germans exterminated 6 million Jews, and who knows how many Polacks and Hungarians. But they didn't lower themselves to this level of depravity. I don't think that the Germans ate the bodies of those that they slaughtered. Obviously, the folks that are in the ISIS have and do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to contract Kuru, K-U-R-U, which you can only get from cannibalism. How can anyone refer to these cult followers as a peaceful and loving religion? They're subhuman. They're subhuman. You'll see in the videos, there's one there that shows you where they line up what appear to be soldiers based on their khaki pants that they were wearing. and they systematically walk along shooting them in the heads. But before that, they give them as a gift to Allah. What kind of God would want others to slaughter in their name and give these people as gifts by blowing their brains out and then cutting their heads off and then disemboweling them, placing them on meat hooks, and obviously consuming much of the flesh? You know, there was one video that YouTube took down, and it showed, I think, 5 women kneeling, and these madmen behind them with their gibberish condemning these women. And then they systematically go down the line like they did with the guns, but here they slit their throats or smack them with an axe in the neck. Once they've killed them, they chop them into little pieces, and they pile the pieces, arms here, torsos there, heads there. YouTube finally took that down because it was absolutely revolting. I can't imagine YouTube's going to allow these videos to stay online very long either. It's sickening. Peaceful, loving religion. And again, I'm not condemning all Muslims. But how do you know? How can you differentiate them? You can't. Obama's bringing them in by plane loads for humanitarian reasons. Most of them are circumventing customs immigration. Are some of those bringing kuru with them? Are they infected by kuru? Don't you think maybe they should be inspected? Anyway, folks, I don't know if you have a clue as to where we're headed in this country, but it's not a good place. And whatever you do, do not give up your weapons. Do not give up your weapons. I'm going to include a link to the article that was written by Wally Shabat. If you don't have a strong stomach, don't watch it. Read the article, but don't watch the videos. It's almost impossible to believe that people would lower themselves to that degree. You know, when I was a young guy, a friend of mine worked at Swift Premium, and his job was to shoot the cattle. And they would use an electric probe to get them into this pen, and the pen had a sloped floor, and it had hydraulic doors. They'd open up a door on the end, and 3 or 4 cows would be forced into this. You could see the terror in their eyes because they knew they were going to be slaughtered. They can smell the blood, I gotta believe. They knew. Their eyes were just wide open. Someone would lean over a rail with a .22 blank cartridge that would shoot a rod that would not leave the gun, but it would protrude into the cow's skull. Cow would drop dead instantly. They'd roll out onto the floor. Then someone would throw a chain around their leg, lift them up over a grate where someone else was wearing a raincoat as he slit their throat. You went from a living cow to the freezer in less than 10 minutes. Yeah. I didn't eat beef for about 4 months after that exposure. One has to be totally insane to dismember another human being, let alone eat the remains. And this is the loving, peaceful religion of followers of Islam. Folks, we're heading for a real bad place. Unless this animal in a White House is removed. He is, I believe, a radical, extremist, Muslim Arab. His mission is to turn whatever's left of this country as followers of Sharia law as a participant in a caliphate. He might even be the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. There's no doubt. He's one of their largest supporters. If you have any doubts, you go to sleep. That's what I think. So what do you think?